Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Joe from GadgetryTech.com, and today I'm going to talk about the Astro A50 Gen 4s. I've owned and used every single Astro A50 since its inception, including the one with the really tiny base station when they can totally change it up a couple generations ago. So I have a lot of experience with this. This was not sent to me for review. I purchased this. It's always been my, I guess, my main or my primary gaming headset because it works for PC and Xbox. And I like the flexibility of it. That's been customizable and everything. So this is a straightforward review, guys. I'm going to be very honest and open about it because there's good and bad. And depending on when you're watching this review, this had a horrible launch. The Gen 4 had insane quality control issues when it first came out. And if you're seeing, I haven't even checked the reviews in a while, but if you see places that say 3.5 stars, it definitely was a 3-star or 2.5-star product when it first came out. Since then, and several firmware revisions later, it is significantly better. I'd say out of 5 stars, it's a 4. So let's talk about why. For one, and anyone who's on the Gen 3 or have read into this will testify to the same thing here. For some reason, the Gen 4 does not sound as good as the Gen 3 does. I don't know if they went with cheaper headphones or cheaper speakers or drivers, or the amplifier is worse, or just their settings. No clue why. But the Gen 3s had a more robust, full sound. If you use these to listen to music at all, you'll be disappointed going from the 3 to the 4. If you don't have a high-end headset, this will still sound decent. You can EQ the crap out of it, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But just basically to get to the point, it's better than the Gen 3 in some regards, but it's worse when it comes to sound quality. So where the Gen 3 got let down, I did a really in-depth review on the Gen 3s, but the problem with the Gen 3s is the transmitter on that was rough. And if you didn't have the perfect connection, it would occasionally drop, you get little cutouts, etc. The Gen 4, when this first came out, and I'm saying this only because depending on where you bought this, if you haven't updated the firmware, you might be having connection issues. Xbox, the headset's not getting detected. The headset was freezing like crazy. It would think that the base station would lock up, causing this to lock up and nothing would work. So they had a firmware update that fixed all that. There's no more lockups. Once that's fixed, the connection from the headset to the base station is rock solid. And when I say rock solid, it never drops. It is the most stable wireless connection of my, 12 to 14 headsets I have now. The wireless performance is excellent on here, and the range is phenomenal. I can go on the opposite side of my house, and I'm shocked that I can still talk to people. So depending on your layout, the range is good. You can walk around with it. Build quality. So I went through a couple of these, the A50 Gen 4s. I'm honestly too scared to even show you because I know once it starts popping out, it can pop out more. Be very careful with the headband. For some reason, it's pressure fit in between this little slot here. If these 2 little tabs in the middle, once it starts popping out, if you put enough pressure on it and pull down on your head, my old one used to just pop out and fall off all the time. I don't know why. That was just a bad unit. I got it replaced. This one has been much better build quality wise. You still get the mod ear pads, which I like. So if you want to change these to the PLU or leatherette material, you can. So I like that. And then another nice feature that Astro does with the A50s is they have little lines on the adjustable headband. Some higher end headphones don't do that, and if you're kind of like a perfectionist and it drives you crazy, you may have one side longer than the other. So I love that they give you the notches. As you can tell, they swivel, they do not collapse and fold flat. These are obviously not travel friendly. The base, the headset, and all the cables, it's pretty cumbersome. This is not my pair I travel with. I travel with a different one. So anyway, with that being said, build quality is so-so. Of all my headphones, this has probably been the most questionable, I guess, as far as longevity. The boom, I've used this for about 6 to 8 months now because, again, this is a real review, guys. The boom does not even hold itself up anymore. When you're spending $300, this should hold up. I mean, this is not a cheap headphone. It should be built like a tank. At least give me an option to tighten it. So it really sucks that it doesn't. So I've talked about some of the negatives because, again, I want to be upfront. There are a lot of positives with this headphone. You just have to know what you're getting into. Questionable build quality. It is a step down in sound performance from the Gen 3s. However, the wireless connection is good. The reason why I'm saying that is because when you're gaming, I don't need high fidelity sound. This is not the set I use to listen to music or do my video production on. It's not that accurate, it's missing some bass. But for gaming, having a rock solid connection is huge. The other thing I like is ergonomically, it's incredibly smart the way it's designed. You have, everything's on the right except your flip to mute mic. So once you have the muscle memory down, you have your power switch, you have your Dolby mode. So there's virtual surround sound processing on this. You'll see the little Dolby icon light up on the front here. If you see a star, you're in stereo mode. When you're playing competitively on a first-person shooter, you want on the star, that's just the standard stereo. I found that when you put it in Dolby mode, you lose the pinpoint accuracy. It's probably great for movies. Again, I don't use these for movies, so I've typically left the Dolby mode off. If you feel like for $300 you're not getting the competitive edge that you expected from these, just check that setting, make sure it's off, and find the EQ setting you like. Speaking of EQ, the next button down changes through the 3 different equalizer presets that are predefined out of the box. Now you'll see the number also change on the base station in real time, so as you change it, you'll see it cycle through in case you want to know. There is an audible beep that happens with this when you cycle through, again telling you which one you're on. Where Astro really shines is the customization software, which again, if you're a competitive player, this is a good gaming headset for a reason. You can change every single EQ parameter within what the drivers are capable of course, but you can boost bass, you can boost vocals, treble, mids. You can change not only the decibel level from your low, medium, high range frequencies, but you can switch to a higher band equalizer. Instead of just having a 5 band, you can go to a larger band. You can even change the crossover threshold, so how tight that crossover is. Basically meaning that if you're boosting 100 hertz bass, do you want a very sharp boost at 100 hertz, or do you want it spread out so between 80 and 120 has a nice gradual roll? So you can do a lot of custom tuning. The other awesome feature I like, and what I've done, because I've had a couple buddies buy this now, you can download custom presets. So I play Call of Duty Warzone. There's a Warzone preset for this that is designed for the game's audio mix. The reason why I want to bring all this stuff up is you can reassign any of those 3 presets to what you want. So I made a 3rd preset for my own theater mode. So if I was watching a couple clips on here and I wanted more of a cinematic experience, I switched to preset 3. My preset 1 is my Call of Duty one. My preset 2 is kind of like a good competitive mix depending on the game. Different games are mixed to what they felt the game should sound. So one equalizer preset may not work for every single game or thing that you watch. So I love having the ability to customize it for your favorite games, a general purpose EQ, you can set one to flat, etc. There's no bass boost button or anything like that, but I love the custom EQ presets. Another positive thing is this has mic monitoring, so when you're talking you can hear yourself speak. On the earlier firmware it would reset itself and you couldn't hear yourself regardless of what the setting was. You have to plug it back in the PC, switch this to PC mode, and then adjust your side tone setting or your mic monitoring setting to hear yourself again. Firmware updates fix that, so I do like that now you can adjust your side tone and how loud you want it. Another feature a lot of people don't know about this, there's a built-in noise gate on the bass side. This is a huge selling point because Call of Duty has its own noise gate setting in the game for a threshold, which basically a noise gate means that if you're talking extremely soft or if someone's in the background, a higher noise gate means you won't hear any of that. So if you're breathing a little heavy, someone's typing on the keyboard and won't pick that up. That's great if you're using this for streaming and you don't want to hear all the chatter or something on your desk. If you shout, you'll still be heard, no problem. There's 4 different noise gate settings. When you go all the way down to your studio mode, it's fully open and it plays everything. You go to your loudest mode, if you will, it will really cut back. It lowers the microphone sound quality a bit, but it does filter out more background noise, which is really cool. So I like that you have the adjustability there. So what really makes this thing shine is the customization and the stability. If you're a competitive gamer and you have the time to invest to customize it, this will give you an edge. Now it's $300, so that's really what you're paying for. I honestly, my $150 Turtle Beaches that I use, the Elite Atlas Aeros, my LucidSounds, honestly, my LucidSound LS35s and LS50s both sound noticeably better than this, but they give you less customization. So it just depends what's important to you. As far as the microphone quality goes, I think it's easily a good second place compared to my Audio Technicas I've reviewed. The ATH-G1WLs that I covered in the past are a little bit brighter. The microphone is incredibly clear and detailed, which can be to its detriment if you are worried about background noise and it picking up everything. This is really good clarity considering how much noise it can isolate from your background. I think Astro did a great job as far as engineering the characteristics of the mic while not making it as, I guess, noisy or busy when you're using a chat with a lot of people. So I think they did a great job with the way the mic is set up for its intended purpose, which is game chat. It does a great job. I wouldn't use this as a podcast mic though. Battery life of this has been phenomenal. Another thing I talked to Astro engineers about is you can leave it on the base station for 10 days straight. It will not burn out the battery. You don't have to see that it's full and then pull it off and worry about frying it. It will cut off power, which is cool. The other nice thing is the flexibility of the connectivity on the back. So there's some things I want to mention here, and you have a switch for PC and Xbox. So if it's plugged in your Xbox, leave it in Xbox mode. PC, just put it in PC mode, obviously. There's a USB charge port on the back. You can charge this while you use it. There's a micro USB on the side here. The cord they give you is too short to use, so you're going to have to use your own, but it's cool, I guess, that if you're in a bind, you can plug it into here. These do not have a headphone jack input, so you can't use them in passive mode, meaning they will not work unless paired to the bass. So going past the audio settings there, you have your optical. It has an optical in and out, which is awesome. So if you have a surround sound system and you want to hear the Dolby sound input on here, you can do full pass-through. Now, these aren't a 7.1 headphone. They're capable of decoding and receiving 7.1 signals, but it's just two drivers. You have the left and the right driver. Not a true surround headphone, which there's no Xbox One that is. Next gen Xbox, the Xbox Series X is doing away with the optical connection. So if you're watching this and you're wondering if it'll work with Xbox Series X, it will. Astro already confirmed they're partnered with Xbox and that you can use this in USB mode. Plug the USB cable in and it'll get all of the audio signal just like it does on a computer, because the computer does not need the optical cable to work. There's an aux input on here. So the aux input is interesting because it will not work if you have a live audio feed coming in on optical. If there's a signal coming in through your optical, your Dolby Digital, you can't have this plugged into your PC simultaneously and hear audio from the PC. That kind of sucks only because the Gen 3s could do that. You could listen to PC, you could listen to the game sound on your Xbox, and you could listen to the chat on your Xbox as well and have volume control between game and chat, and then you would adjust your PC volume for the PC side. So I really wish it still had that because it makes it so much easier than having to unplug this all the time just to connect it to the PC. So that's kind of a drawback. I don't think anyone's going to use the aux input too much. It is there though, so that's cool. And then the last plug is your micro USB to charge the bass. It does come with the cable that you need to plug it into the Xbox or PC, and it comes with the fiber optic cable, which is long enough to put this in most spots. I think it's 3 feet long. It's very skinny, but I've never had any of the Astro headsets fail as far as a fiber optic goes. The cables are very robust considering how skinny they are. So I did a lot of rambling. I'm pretty passionate about headphones because aside from your controller, that's your next most important piece. You know, it can make or break your game, and it can totally change your experience. Crappy headphones is not going to pull you into the game as much as a high-end set. So take that for what you will. What you're really paying for $300 is honestly the rock-solid wireless connection and the ability to customize every single thing about this. That's really where it shines. Where it lets you down is the utmost sound quality. It's not quite where it could be. I think the build quality is one of the poorest in any price range from $100 to even $400. I don't know, and just to be realistic, it's built pretty weak compared to the other ones that I've used. It's flimsy. It shouldn't be doing this after 6 months of use. So I hope you guys found this review helpful. I really covered a lot in a short period of time, but there's a lot to discuss with this kind of headphone. It only uses 40mm drivers, so that's part of why the sound quality isn't as good. The battery life, I've never had it fail on me. I think it says 15+ hour battery life. I've never gotten to that point where it died. You really should be able to get 2 or 3 nights of gaming, no problem. And the durability of the batteries have been great. So Anyway, I hope you found this review helpful. I'm reviewing a few more headphones, both for Xbox and PC soon. So if you want to see how this stacks up, keep your eye on that. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll have a link in the description below in case you want to purchase these. If after learning all this, you feel like that's still the best headset for you, I'll have a link if you want to support the channel. It'll take you to Amazon. It won't cost you anything extra, but you can support us. And thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll see you next time. Bye.